Hello and welcome to the Street Crime UK YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Today we look at a gang of thugs who stole cannabis from notorious criminals and spent their days smoking the Class B substance and enjoyed time abroad. In Amsterdam, it emerged. Liverpool Crown Court heard how infamous Hyde Parkers drug gang controlled the supply of cocaine and cannabis in their local area. Thug Nathan Ball, who was supported by Tom Rigby and Jess Fashoni, ran the gang, which was rooted in the Hyde Park area of Southport. James and Jordan Gelling, two brothers who once terrorised the town, were also involved with the gang. The Hyde Parkers flooded the area with cocaine and cannabis for 28 months before the conspiracy finally collapsed and 15 criminals were jailed for 115 years. A source portrayed the Hyde Parkers as dysfunctional individuals who sold drugs to fund their own dependence on cannabis. He said all those lads wanted to do was smoke weed and laze around. The only way of funding that without working was to sell drugs. That was the extent of their involvement really. He said the gang, possibly due to their drug use, seemed to be fearless. He said they didn't really care about anything. They would steal grows from cannabis farms that belonged to some fairly well respected criminals in the area. They just weren't bothered. I think they were doing quite well just before the police moved in. Nathan Ball seemed to have some decent money and I was told he was doing well. 33-year-old Nathan Ball of Canning Road, Southport, 28-year-old Tom Rigby of Ball Cop Formby, and 26-year-old Jesse Fashoni of Bridge Grove, Southport. These three assessed are leading members of the OCG. 23-year-old Brandon Coleshaw of No Fixed Address, 33-year-old James Gelling of No Fixed Address, 47-year-old James Nixon of Old School Close, Banks, 29-year-old Jordan Gelling of Lytham Road, Southport, 25-year-old Kane Doherty of Kensington Road, Southport, 25-year-old Kieran Broadshaw of Ovington Drive, Southport, 27-year-old Lewis Appleby of Forest Road, Southport, 25-year-old Peter Ball of Canning Road, Southport, 36-year-old Philip Taylor of Station Road, Banks, 25-year-old Ryan Edwards of Alexandra Road, Southport, 27-year-old Stuart Sterling of No Fixed Address, 25-year-old Will Gardner of Cheney Close, Blunderslands. The man said the gang enjoyed regular trips to Amsterdam. He said that was definitely their favourite destination. I think they met up with other crooks and enjoyed the cannabis cafes and all of that. They lived for the weed. Liverpool Crown Court heard how the gang brought harm to the Southport area. Vulnerable and desperate addicts were cocooned, meaning their homes were used by dealers as locations for drugs or cash to be stored. Individuals who tried to stop working for the gang were bullied and beaten, the court heard. James Gelling's involvement in the conspiracy was brought to a close after he was jailed for killing a Liverpool fan in Southport town centre. Mr. Gelling was jailed for 6 years in 2019 after pleading guilty to manslaughter. Ventislav Marginov. To Gelling, it was ruled, delivered the fatal blow to Mr. Marginov, who suffered a fractured skull from the brutal attack and had to be put on life support machine for his injuries. When the Southport man was arrested, he said to detectives, "I'm not asked if he dies or lives. He's injured permanently. A cabbage. I don't give a fuck." The court also heard how leading members of the gang were targeted by rivals. Mr. Rigby and Miss Fashoni were travelling in a Ford Transit in the Banks area of West Lancashire on July 7th, 2018, when they were shot at by 4 men in balaclavas. They were unharmed and later gave limited cooperation to detectives in Lancashire. In a separate incident, gang member Peter Ball turned up at Southport General Hospital with a shotgun wound to his left inner thigh. He refused to engage with police officers but did say, "It could have been a shotty. I've been shot, defo." Judge Bryan described how there were up to 511 contacts to one of the graph phones in a day as the well-planned and profitable operation ran for more than 2 years with the motive clearly financial gain. A shift system was installed for those working within it, and drugs driven around to customers in Southport and surrounding districts like Ainsdale. 2 separate graph phone numbers were used and £20,000 in cash was seized by police as they made arrests of those involved, including one single cocaine seizure worth about £20,000. Mr. Ball was jailed for 12 years and Mr. Rigby and Miss Fashoni received 9 years each. James Gelling was jailed for 8 years for his part in the conspiracy. In total, 15 members of the gang were sentenced to more than 110 years in prison for conspiracy to supply drugs. Speaking after the sentencing, Detective Inspector Catherine Walsh said, "This sentencing marks the end of an extensive investigation which was dismantled this extremely harmful OCG, and I'm sure the communities of Southport and beyond share our satisfaction that these people have been removed from the streets. They will be unable to spread their misery any longer. Drug supply and associated violent crime ruins the lives of countless people and those sentenced have also thrown away their own futures by getting involved. Hopefully some of those jailed will reflect upon the risks, the harm, and their punishments and change their ways. Serious and organised crime remains a priority for Merseyside Police, and we will continue to take positive action against those who blight our communities. Information from the public is vital, and we will continue to act on all that we receive. We will continue to work tirelessly to remove drug dealers from our streets and provide our communities with a safe place to live, work, and visit. My message to those engaged in organised crime is clear. We know who you are, we can see where you are operating, and we will come knocking. So what are your thoughts about this Hyde Parkers drug gang and how they would go around stealing other criminals' drugs and consume them themselves? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay safe.